Jai Shri Krishna. Today we will take up Shlok 5 and 6 again. Here Bhagavan says that bring the Prakriti Atma under the control of Jivatma. By winning over it. How you control it? You must win it. Just like in the old days, the kings used to fight. The one who won the other kingdom belonged to him and under their control. Same way, the Prakriti Atma has to be under control of Jivatma. When Prakriti Atma is under control of Jivatma, then Jivatma has no way out, cannot act independently. What is this? Paradhin, he is Partantra, he is dependent on somebody else. And that somebody else could be anybody, could be Shatru or enemy or whatever. So Bhagavan says, bring Prakriti Atma under the control of Jivatma by winning over it. Thus, make it as your, that is Jivatma's, Bandhu. Otherwise, the Prakriti Atma, not under the control of Jivatma, is positioned like a foe and works as his enemy. What foe does? Foe works as enemy. To reign in the Prakriti Atma, the Jivatma needs to be more powerful than the Prakriti Atma. Where would Jivatma get the power to exercise control over the Prakriti Atma? It cannot be from someone else, because when you get something from somebody else, you are under their control. You owe them something, and that causes a bondage. Jivatma must not depend on the karma phal, because when you depend on help from somebody, it is because of the karma phal. One needs to develop powers within to exercise control over the Prakriti Atma. Who can do this? It is one who does not get tangled in the affairs of sansar, because this Prakriti is a reflection of, sansar is a reflection of Prakriti. You get tangled up in sansar, you are dependent on Prakriti. When a child, this is an example, when a child looks at something and he likes it, then in order to get it, the child starts crying. That's a natural thing child does. Until he gets it, he keeps crying. Similarly, an old man, an old person, when he likes something, a desire develops within himself. And the desire is to get that thing. He doesn't have the means to get it, just like a child, but he wants it. Both are powerless to get the object, and both are unable to resist the temptation for it either. They cannot resist temptation. They got to have it. On the other hand, a young adult having powers within is in a position to decide that he does not want the object. He can walk away from it. The other two, the child and the old person, doesn't have that power to walk away from this object or wanting the object. Therefore, the practice to enhance the powers of Jivatma can only be done while a person is a young adult, between 12 and 40 years of age. That's the ideal time. Now the question comes up that what does it mean to win over Atma? This means to control the actions of five senses in their objects, the five senses being taste, seeing, touch, hearing, and smell. It is to move the five senses from their objects and channeling them towards Ishwar. Without the control over the senses, you cannot channel yourself towards Ishwar because the senses will take you in different direction. Here we need to understand that the Parameshwar is the only one who is our eternal Bandhu, Nitya Bandhu. Meaning, he gives help to Jivatma just for the sake of helping, wanting nothing in return. Every other entity will give a conditional help. They always want something in return. Thus, he is not another. He is ours. He is not somebody else. What help do we get from Parameshwar? It is the power of Gyan, called the Gyan Shakti. Armed with that Gyan Shakti, Jivatma controls the Prakriti Atma. One more thing we need to remember, which is that the Aruruksha is the one who does have some Gyan. In order to have desire to be a yogi, he must know what it means to be yogi. He has some Gyan. On the basis of this Gyan, he wants to move higher and become Yoga Rudh, established in yoga, meaning firmly established in yoga with Parameshwar. These are only few people, there are not many people. In chapter 7, Bhagavan tells Arjun,
Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschet yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha.
he says, Yatata mapi siddhaye. So, among the thousands of the people in this world, Bhagavan says, hardly one of them will strive to know me, would even want to know me. And of these striving yogis, here these are Aruruksha Muni, some rare one devoting himself exclusively to me knows me in reality. For him, I become real. What is reality? Knowing in reality. For him, Ishwar becomes real. And he sees me. When you see something real, you see something, it's real. How he sees through Jnana Chakshu. So what about the other people in the creation? Bhagavan says there are just few people who even try to look for me, and just very few, even one in thousands and thousands, even try to get me. So what about the rest of the people? All of the rest are subject to the cycle of birth and death. It is not that they do not believe in the existence of Parameshwar, but they are led to believe the entities which are not Parameshwar as Parameshwar. And that is the problem. And that's the reason they cannot get out of this cycle of birth and death. Their Gyan is false Gyan, called Anyatha Gyan, which results from the ignorance or Agyan. These masses worship Devata. This is done in each and every religion today. For these people, Bhagavan says,
Yepyanya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvitaha tepi mameva kaunteya yajantya vidhi purvakam.
Tepi mamev kaunteya yajante avidhipurvakam. That these devotees endowed with faith, Shraddhanvita, worship Devata with some motive. They are worshipping me alone. They don't know, but they are worshipping me alone. Although with an inappropriate approach. This is in chapter 9, Shlok 23. Their approach is not appropriate, inappropriate, avidhipurvak. This is why it is so difficult to be in yoga with Ishwar. One needs to work hard with complete dedication and faith and worship only the Ishwar for their entire life. They have to dedicate their whole life. In this day and age, there are so many different religions in the world which are not based on Ishwar Gyan, and each one of them misguides people. To those misguided people, in chapter 18, Shlok 66, Bhagavan tells,
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः.
Bhagavan says, resigning all dharma, including adharma and all karma, righteous as well as unrighteous. Take refuge in me and me alone. I shall absolve you of all sins, meaning all bonds of dharma and adharma. You should not grieve. Here Bhagavan is very clear that the right path for all human is none other than his path. Having seen how one can make his Prakriti Atma his Bandhu, now we take Shlok 7 of this chapter and 8. In both of these shloks, Bhagavan tells about the person who has become Yogarudha.
जितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहितः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु तथा मानापमानयोः.
Here Bhagavan tells Arjuna the characteristics of the one who has become Yogarudha. What is the level of happiness in him? In this shlok, in 7 and 8, both of shloks, says Jit Atmana. Jitatmana means the one who has won over the Atma. Prashantasya, his antahkaran, mind and senses, they are quiet and serene. Paramatma, his Atma has become Param Atma, higher Atma. Atma remains same in honor or in dishonor. If somebody honors him, it's the same, he doesn't change. If somebody causes dishonor to him, he stays the same. It doesn't affect him because he has his senses and mind under control. Samahita, he is steadfast and does not waver. The one who has become Yogarudha, he remains steadfast in when it comes to senses in cold or heat, as well as in his mind in honor or dishonor. These are the examples of mental stability. These are the examples of the pair of opposites, Dvand. The Yogarudha has risen above all these and is completely focused on Ishwar. The next shlok is in the same context.
ज्ञान विज्ञान तृप्तात्मा कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रियः युक्त इत्युच्यते योगी समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्चनः.
The Jeev Atma, which has conquered his Prakriti Atma, his Antahkaran is completely filled and contented with Gyan, meaning Ishwar, Gyan, and Vigyan, meaning he has seen Ishwar. There are two different things, Gyan and Vigyan. Gyan means knowing. This is the knowledge of Ishwar. When one gets knowledge of Ishwar, he has knowledge of everything that exists. Devta, Prapanch, Jeev, everything. He even sees himself, what he is. And Vigyan means he actually sees Ishwar. He gets sakshatkar of Ishwar. Having conquered his senses, he is now situated in a high state, kutastha, where he has become free of all vikar. For such a person, what is his state of mind, how he looks at things? For him, a lump of earth, a stone, or gold, they are equal and the same. For him, it is said that this yogi is yukta or has become yogarudha. This is a simple explanation of these shlokas. Looking at this, one can say, living in the sansar, he will not be able to get to this state. People will say that. It is such high state, I cannot get to it. How do I get to it? So why even worrying about reading Gita? Just stay in the sansar and enjoy it and go on. Such a person needs to understand that here Bhagavan is telling about the person who has risen to the high state of Yogarudha. Before, he too was like us. He was no different. We will now take up the characteristic of such a person one at a time. Bhagavan says that person is Jitatmana, the one who has conquered his Atma. This is not an easy task. This is the person who has seen Ishwar with all his glory. He is joyous within himself. To him, everything else in sansar has no meaning. Why we run after things? To get some pleasure. But he has the pleasure within. He doesn't need any pleasure. He is totally contented. So to him, naturally, whatever is in sansar is meaningless. And he derives no joy from these things, outside things. He now knows that the outside world is made up of the 5 elements. He sees those elements and is impermanent. It's not permanent. It is constantly changing, and thus that change results in sorrow. What you thought is going to be, what you liked, is not there the next moment, and then you feel sorrow. Unlike those still attached to the sansar and who are running after one thing after another, this person remains contented within and has no attraction to the beings, things outside. Those who are not jitatmana, they are called parajitatmana. They have been defeated by their senses. His senses exercise constant control over him. He is unsteady because senses never stay same. His mind is fickle, chanchal. On the other hand, the Jitatmana is steady and he continues to pursue the Shreyas. Shreyas means what is good for the Atma. And now what he becomes? Next quality, Prashanta. He becomes quiet and steady. Steady. He doesn't move, he doesn't waver. He does not run after things. And now he is like, what he becomes this way? He is like Paramatma, Param Atma. This has two meanings. There are two types of Atma. One is called Anu Atma. This Atma keeps searching for pleasures and honor outside. That's called Anu Atma, small Atma. The other is called Param Atma. The Anu Atma goes where it gets honor and avoids places where he is dishonored. It also seeks cooler places in the heat and warmer places in the cold temperature, cold weather. But the Param Atma is not affected by these conditions. The Param Atma, being omnipresent, is at all places, under all conditions, at all time, and therefore is beyond the pair of opposites. Having practiced tap, swadhyay, and Ishwar pranadhanani, which we saw earlier, he has become from being an aruruksh to yogarud. Such Atma then becomes Paramatma. Thus, Bhagavan says that the one who is Jitatmana, his Atma has expanded to be everywhere. That's Paramatma. The Atma has expanded, is everywhere. Now, what happens to such Atma? So, next quality is Samahita. Such Atma does not move. He doesn't need to move. He is everywhere. In other words, the Atma does not strive to become anything else. And this Atma remains same in Shitoshna Sukh Dukkheshu. Whether it's cold, hot, you get Sukh or Dukh, doesn't affect him. This Atma has become pervading, Vyapak. These are the characteristics of that Atma which has become Paramatma. This is the Jivatma which has conquered his Prakriti Atma and has become contented and completely satisfied through Gyan and Vigyan. Such Atma has become Trapt Atma, means is completely contented, is trapt, and has become Kutastha. Kut is the word used for high place, like a big mountain, on top of the mountain. So he is now situated very high above the sansar. There's another meaning of Kut, which will come later on. This person has attained great height. Now the Jivatma remains endued only with avidya. That's the only thing left which is causing trouble for him, and he needs to get out of it. The word Kut is also used for avidya. So when Bhagavan says Kutastha, he is situated only in avidya. He is out beyond everything else in samsara. Therefore, Kutastha means the Jivatma situated in avidya. This person has now become Vijitendriya. Vijitendriya means he has completely conquered his senses. He has no use for any of the worldly things. Having filled with Gyan Vigyan, he knows that everything is what everything is. He knows the reality of everything. Therefore, for him, samloshtancha kanchana, or the earth, rock, and the gold are same. He sees these items at the atomic level. And yukt ityuch yogi, such a yogi is called yukt. Ityuch, O yogi, meaning that having completed this sadhana and has become siddh, now he is siddh. These are the distinctive characteristics or lakshan of the yoga rule. So far, we have read what the message of Bhagavad Gita is for us. It is that we, the Jivatma, need to conquer our Prakriti Atma and become Vijitendriya. In such a person, the desire to get anything does not occur, doesn't even take place. Without the control of senses, one cannot become a karma yogi. So if you want to be karma yogi, you must, first step is to control your senses. Control doesn't mean the senses go away. No, you just exercise your control. You want what you want to do with the senses, that's what they do. This winning over the Prakriti Atma has to be done constantly till we reach the destination or the sadhya. It's not that you do for 5 minutes and then you go on your own way, merry way. In everything that we do, we have to be aware that do not let the indriya or the senses to take over. And this is very difficult. Until we conquer our Prakriti Atma, it remains our enemy, Shatru. Now, how the unconquered Prakriti Atma is our enemy? How is it that it is our enemy? It is when such a person sees something, he is overwhelmed by the duality, the dvand of Prakriti. These result in him either liking or disliking the thing which he's seen, which he's encountered. Whether he has developed liking for, he really likes the thing, or he says, no, I don't want it. His mind remains engaged in the event and then he neglects the duty of the moment. So how is that? You see something, and if your senses are not in control, they will tell your mind that, yeah, this is good, this is bad, I want this, I don't want that. And the moments you use to make the decision or even to look at the things and go into the exercise of liking or disliking, that time is lost. What is supposed to do? We have got to pursue Paramatma. But during that time is gone. It's never coming back. And that is how Prakriti becomes Shatru. It deliberately does that to us. It creates that attraction for certain things based on the data bank that it has. Prakriti knows what we like and what we don't like. What we have liked in the past is already there. And when it sees something, the Prakriti says, yes, you like this item. And immediately the mind is to start to go in that direction. When that happens, that mind is no longer pursuing the yoga. It's going away towards Prakriti. So this is how Prakriti Atma becomes our enemy. By doing this, what happens? The Atma gets into pramad, carelessness. This happens due to the tamogun. This is knowingly that it is wrong to neglect our duty to ourselves, our Atma. One neglects it. Knowingly that is wrong to neglect the duty to uplift our Atma beyond the sansar, but still knowingly we neglect it. That is tamogun. What are some other distinctive characteristics of one who is yoga rud? They are given in the next shloka.
सुहृन्मित्रार्युदासीन मध्यस्थद्वेष्य बन्धुषु साधुष्वपि च पापेषु समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते.
In this shloka, Bhagavan says that in sansar there are 9 types of human beings. What are these? The first one he said, Suhrat, meaning well-wisher. So when you come across people in this world, you can immediately, with your knowledge, with the gyan, find out who is actually what. Who is Suhrat? Who is your well-wisher? He wishes well for everyone and does not wish bad for anyone. It's not just wishing well, it's not wishing bad either. So that is Suhrat. Mitra, second person is Mitra or friend. This is different from the well-wisher. He gives suggestion only to those who listen to his suggestions. A friend from time to time helps by sharing his views on someone's problem. When you have a problem, you go find a friend to find the solution for it, don't you? So that is, some people in this world will act like mitra or friend. The third one, Bhagavan says, is Ari. Ari means a foe. He harms others. That's what he does. Whosoever he comes in contact, he'll harm them. He is everybody's foe. The next one is Udasin, the neutral one. He stays on sideline and only observe what is happening. He doesn't care for anything else. Like, dislike, nothing. He's just watching what's going on. Bystander. Next one is Madhyasth, the arbiter. He generally has nothing to do with anyone, but occasionally shows the right path to other people. He has nothing to do with anybody, but if somebody he comes across need help, he'll show the right path. Next one is Dveshya. It is not a foe. However, he has jealousy in his heart. He develops abhorrence or dislike for others. He always is on the lookout for the shortcomings in other people. He even talks bad of someone's good qualities. Asuya. The next one is Bandhu. He is the one who lends support in the matter of court and in the time of death. And it has been described as Rajdware Shumshane Cha Tistrasti Sabandhava. When somebody gets sued by some government stuff, he comes for help. Or at the time of death, when there is nobody there to help, Bandhu, the person who helps is Bandhu. Sadhu. Sadhu is a good human being who is in the righteous. He's always acting as a righteous person. And the last one is Papeshu, the unrighteous, also called the sinner. He is so in the view of others. Other people call him sinners, But no one except himself, and Parmeshwar knows his situation. People call sinner. Bhagavan says that the one who is yoga ruled, he sees everyone for these as same. He sees all of these as same. He does not differentiate between any of these people. He knows that everyone in this drama called sansar is just playing his role. So if somebody is Bandhu, he's playing his role. Somebody is Ari, he's playing his role. He doesn't. So he sees everyone as same. Everybody is playing their role. In that way, they are all same. When the act is finished, he knows when the act is finished, everyone returns to their original form. Like in a drama, people go, all these actors go and act their role. They act differently. When the drama is finished, they're on the backstage, they are same in their original form. In everyone, the Atma is same. This is what this means. Everyone, he sees Atma in everybody. And Atma is same in everyone, no matter what it is, who it is. Outwardly, each looks and acts differently based on the role which they are playing in this act. This role is the result of their karma. They've been assigned this role based on their karma. So we should understand that each one of us is playing the role based on our karma. One day we will leave this body and all the wealth, degrees, status and titles, they all be left here. These were assigned to us to fulfill our role in the act of the sansar. So Bhagavan says, Sam buddhi vishishyate, that in everyone keep the same buddhi. This does not mean that treat all as the same. If someone has committed theft, it does not mean that he should not be punished. This is very important to understand. He should be punished. But keep the punishment such which you too can face, because someday you may be facing the same role. This equanimity is what is meant by sambuddhi. This stands supreme, vishishyate. This person is what is called samdarshi, not samvarti, samdarshi, meaning his way of thinking for each one of these 9 type of people is same. Among the 9, 3 types are good, which are Suhrad, Mitra and Bandhu. The other 3 are in the middle, Udasin, Madhyast and Sadhu. And the third group of 3 are bad, called Ari, Dveshta and Papi. Although he sees all of them same with respect to Atma, he does behave differently with each one of them according to what they are and what they are doing. So the one who has completed his sadhana while being in sansar, he has completed dharma, arth and kam by winning over the senses and doing dharma and everything else. He has completed 3 parts of the siddhi and is on the last step, which is the moksha. Dharma, arth, kam, moksha. So he is at the moksha stage. If for some reason he is unable to complete this in this life, Parmeshwar helps him to complete this step. The message here is that while a person has good sense, ability, he needs to get on the path of moksha. This is usually up to the age of 60. Cannot do the sadhana after that. The body doesn't cooperate. Next, Bhagavan describes the path for those who want the siddhi, yoga rule. And this we will take the next time. What Bhagavan says, what path a person should follow. Right now, so far, he has told us what the people, the characteristics are, how they behave, and what their gyan level is. Now he's going to tell how to do it. So that we'll start next time. Hare Krishna.